All right, let's set this short marathon of It Chapter 2 with this. And yes, once again, It Chapter 2 is once again directed by Andres Muschietti from the very first chapter. And it's starring Jessica Chastain, James McAvoy, Bill Skarsgård, Bill Hader, Jay Ryan, James Ronson, Isaiah Mustafa, Andy Bean, and many other cast members. And to be honest, guys, I was actually looking forward to this movie though, and after seeing its mixed reception, I kind of understand though. But we'll get to that in a little bit though. So let's begin first with the story. The story picks up exactly 27 years later, but actually we get to see a flashback of what happens in the very end of 1989 with Bill and the rest of the Losers Club. If like 27 years, like if it happens again, we're gonna come back and we're gonna take them down. And that was the promise. So 27 years later, we get to see a huge, or should I say a bit of a twisted opening though. We get to see like a couple, I'm not going to say what type of couple it is. They get harassed, they get beaten up, they get knocked, one of them gets knocked down by the water and stuff like that. And to be honest, I hate those people that attack them. I really do. If I would have been there to defend them, I would have been like, you know what, just step away. Because that's it. That's messed up. I hate crime. It's just messed up. And let's just get back to that. Then we get to see like one of the victims, floating in the water, and we get to see Pennywise just immediately like show up out of nowhere and completely takes away that victim. And then while the other person from the couple notices what happens, yeah, Pennywise does the unthinkable and just kills and just eats its heart. And then after that, we get to see the balloons floating around, and my God. And then after that, we kind of get to see Mike, who is now an adult, wake up from a distress call from the police that somebody just got dismembered. And Mike was like, you know what? It happened. So and he wants to go and investigates, and he sees that like what actually really happens, and you get to see bloodstains of what really happened, that Pennywise is already back and has returned from the dead. Or should I say back in his full form. And to be honest, guys, wow, the way it starts, it's unsettling though. Even though the couple kind of like was a bit of a like divided like a bunch of critics. But you know what? In the book, it does go by that though. So I'm actually cool with it. But in the end, that's how it begins. And then right here, we get to see what Bill, Beverly, Ben, Eddie, Mike, and Stanley are doing like as adults and stuff like that. And it kind of goes exactly the way the original goes. By a little bit though, it kind of does some of it though. Even though we kind of like how the way everybody has been through though, and how the way when Mike calls in, everybody calls Bill and everybody, we get to see like their stories of what they've been doing a bit as what they've been doing as adults and stuff like that. And we get to see them reunite. It is what it is. 27 years, they're adults. Pennywise returns, and Pennywise is out there to feed on fear from kids and stuff like that, and we get to know about that too. So but let's talk about, and yeah, the story is good. Let's talk about the Losers Club as adults now. Wow, they nailed it with the casting though, and people predicted this very, very, very well. Everybody was saying that Jessica Chastain was going to be Beverly. They called it. Richie, they knew that Bill Hader was going to get the role, and he immediately got it though. And James McAvoy for sure was going to be Bill for sure, and they got it though. It was divided between James McAvoy or Jake Gyllenhaal, but James McAvoy managed to get the role though. Ben, played by Jay Ryan, my God, they look exactly alike immediately. They're like, it's like father and son, but was this time traveling, stuff like that? Because they nailed the casting though. They look exactly how the way look like at kids, especially with James Ranson as Eddie. Wow, he looks exactly like him too. And then Isaiah Mustafa, I'm so freaking, I'm kind of like, he does look like how the way he looks like back in the past. But after noticing that he's the Old Spice guy, I just immediately started cracking up. And then after I just saw him, I was like, oh my gosh, it's the Old Spice guy. And then the couple was right next to me were like laughing, and yeah, they were saying it's true. And yeah, and I called it too, and many people were actually a little divided on it. But I'm cool with Isaiah Mustafa. He actually was a really good Mike my character. And then also Andy Bean, for his short time, he had a pretty good role though, from beginning to end, if you get my pun. And yeah, they actually really did nailed it here. And I like how the way their chemistry worked in this movie and how the way they combined. In my opinion, I like the casting here. They nailed it out of the park with the casting, though. I thought, to me, they get props for that too. So the casting here was absolutely amazing, though, and how the way they go through after 27 years later, though, it's just sad, though, and especially how the way they're scarred with Pennywise, and even though they are scarred from, like, keeping their promise and stuff like that. Let's talk about this other one too, the Losers Club, but we get to see flashbacks of, like, the previous past. And we get to see, like, a bit of CGI stuff like that, and then they're trying to, like, not talk about, because, like, when you become kids, and then when your, let's just say, your voice changes and stuff like that, if you know what I mean. Yeah, they were trying so hard to at least sound like, oh my gosh, like, I can't believe I'm talking like a kid and stuff like that. It immediately made me laugh and stuff like that. And there were some moments that was kind of, like, edited down to, like, keep them going and stuff like that. And I like how the way they explored a little bit of the flashbacks, though, because I thought they were going to be focusing on the adults. No, we do get to see flashbacks of, like, what they were doing, like, when they were, like, kids and stuff like that, and how the way they were going through, especially in the past. It was actually sad, and how the way they reflected it as they were adults and stuff like that. And I'm actually happy how the way they did it, though. Even though there was a few of the kids that they actually did put the CGI on, especially for Ben, for Richie, a little bit on Bill. Beverly, not so much. She kind of looks a lot the same 2 years ago. Who else? Mike hasn't looked like he has aged a bit. Stanley, though, a little bit, not so much, though. And also, that's about it, though. They actually got the right casting, stuff like that. Even though they did got Henry Bauer, he looks like he has aged a little bit, though. And then after that, they didn't actually CGI him. He got a lot more taller, though. And I don't want to spoil much, though, even though I did call it, though, about what actually happened to Henry. In my opinion, I thought how the way they explored the flashbacks, and how the way they explored a little bit more of their backstories and stuff like that, and how the way their chemistry, like, unfolded from kids all the way to adults, was actually really good. It was good. Let's talk about Pennywise here. Pennywise the Clown. Portrayed once again by Bill Skarsgård. How the way he was introduced in the very beginning, and then we get to see another scene of how the way he shows up. And to be honest, guys, let me say this: I'll defend a little bit about this. Not so much. I'm a little divided, though, because in Avengers: Infinity War, the movie was pretty much centered and focused on Thanos, and in Avengers: Endgame, it focuses on the aftermath, and we get to see Thanos in the beginning, and then we don't see him until nearly halfway through of the movie, though. That's what they actually do this too with Pennywise, though. We get to see snippets of him in the very beginning, and then a little bit of what he did after that. And then after that, nearly about an hour plus later, we get to see Pennywise come back and then pretty much just haunt the memories of all the Losers Club as adults and stuff like that, affecting their minds and stuff like that, just messing with them. I was a little upset that he does get a little bit of small screen time, though, but how the way he gets portrayed here, though, and how the way he scares them badly, though, I thought, to me, it was much more terrifying than the original, and then the very first one, though. Even though the first one was actually terrifying, but here, they were right. They got more terrifying here as adults, though, and they went above and beyond with the horror here, too. So, Pennywise, his role here, it is pivotal, though, and how the way he, like, sees them, though, like still haunts their minds and stuff like that. It does actually, affect their minds and stuff like that. And I'm actually, happy how the way he's portrayed, though. And how the way, he kind of is proud of, how the way he managed to, portray this role here, though. And how the way he goes through the very end and stuff like that. And to be honest, I liked how the way Bill Skarsgård is portrayed here, though. So, to be honest, I thought, to me, it was actually really good how the way he was portrayed. And yeah, I'm a little divided despite that, though, but I'll give it a pass because he did manage to do a really good job here. So let's talk about the supporting cast. We only get to see snippets of it, though. We get to see the old lady, you get to see the old lady from the trailer and stuff like that, and you only get to see her that only one time and stuff like that. We get to see a little bit of what happens in the past, especially with their parents. Beverly's father, who's a creepy punk. We get to see Henry Bowers, though, even though I was a little like 2 years growing up a little bit like that, but I don't even know. They kind of didn't CGI it though, but it's cool. But still. And then after that, we kind of like know what really happens in the very end and stuff like that. Like with a few of the old cast and stuff like that, and we get to see like many other characters like portrayed and stuff like that. And we get to see like familiar faces and stuff like that as older and stuff like that, especially the creepy pharmacist. Yeah, even though he is still creepy in the movie. Yeah, the supporting cast here was pretty damn good though, and I liked how the way. But even though it kind of like focuses a little bit on the Losers Club and then the supporting cast, and it's actually true though because it did focuses on that. So yeah, the supporting cast is minimal, but at the same time focuses on the Losers Club. So I'm a little divided on it. Even though we get to see snippets of like a little bit of the supporting cast though, especially with like the kids' parents and stuff like that. Especially with Eddie's mom though, all the way she goes through though. Shit. Let's talk about the cons about the movie. The pacing is a bit slow. Like the build up in the very beginning, okay, it's building up a little bit though. But then after that, we get to see like how the way everyone has gone through 27 years later with the aftermath, and then they were knowing that 27 years later that they were gonna be returning of like what they had to do against Pennywise. And it's kind of sad and terrifying though how the way Stanley goes through and stuff like that, and especially with other cast members though. And it was tough, and it focuses on that though. We do get to see some small elements and stuff like that, and we don't get to see much of Pennywise though, and that's what I thought the movie was going to be focusing on. We're going to be seeing a little bit of Pennywise. We do get to see a little bit of Pennywise, but we get to see like the aftermath of what actually happens with the Losers Club and stuff like that, how the way they're affected 27 years later, and what they were doing like in their very own lives and stuff like that. It was tough, and yeah, the pacing was a little off though, and at the same time they do a few things differently though from the original one though. I thought to me things here there was a few things that they changed up from the very original movie into this one. I don't want to spoil much though, but that's all I got to say though. It's not a bit of a con though, but I'm a little divided on it though, but it's fine how the way it is though. And also the changes that the way they did with the movie though, it's a little bit, let's just say they kind of did things a little bit differently here, but some of them does repeat itself and stuff like that. But how the way it is here, and learning a little bit more about Pennywise's origin though, which I was a little concerned about because I thought we're gonna be seeing like Pennywise in a different form, and we do, and we get to know a little bit about his past, and we do. But how the way it was kind of sort of executed from like how the way we know it from the beginning all the way to the end, I was a little okay. So that's how you kind of like handle it. Okay. Just swear, and swear. You guys understand of that. Is this movie worth watching? If you guys really do want to see the epic conclusion of this movie, go ahead and give it a watch though. But I highly recommend, like, if you guys want to watch it on discount day, just go ahead and watch it on discount day. Because that's what I did actually though, even though my situation I'm going through right now. And I want to do this for you too, Shane. And I didn't actually do this, so for you guys. And sorry guys, I'm acting a little bit like Bill. I am going through some tough times too, and it is what it is. But let's not get too personal here though. The movie, my final verdict, I'm gonna have to go with. I'm stuck between two numbers, 7 or 6. But I think 7 is much more reasonable. I think to me it's much more reasonable because there's not much Pennywise until like you go through halfway through the movie though. There's a few things that they did changed up though, and I like how the way they changed it up though. And then also we know a little bit about Pennywise's story, and I hope that we get to see a little bit more of that explored, but we don't get much of it though. And not only that too, I just wish that they actually had like something like let's just say how the way explore a little bit more about Pennywise's origin. We do get that, but it's only small but minimal though. And yeah, that's about it though, because we do know a little bit of what Pennywise comes from and stuff like that, and I'm a little mad about like how the way it is and how the way it ends up though. But in the end, I'm just a little upset that how the way it was executed, and that's about it. Yeah, so that's it guys. That's the end of the video. I just hope things pick up for me because it's a tough situation that I'm going through, and as you guys can notice, a little bit of my stuttering and stuff like that. It's tough. It's a tough situation that I'm going through, especially me and my mom. And I don't want to lose exactly this home that I live in because it's all I have. And I want to keep going forward with this too because I love doing this for you guys, and I love doing this too because this is what I'm actually good at. I love talking about movies and video games, and I'm sorry that I was stuttering and stuff like that, but I will improve soon enough. Even though I was going to do that, but things completely changed up. But I hope things pick up soon enough. So that's it, guys. I'm done for today. And I'll be posting this as soon as possible, though. So I'll be seeing you guys then. So thank you. If for those who are patient for my video content, thank you for being patient. And I hope you guys are looking forward to what I'm going to be doing next, though. As long as something new comes up, though, and I hope everything that I have planned for in the future does happen because I want to do something that I'm actually looking forward to doing in the future. So, yeah. So I'll be seeing you guys then. Take care, everybody.